Hi there, I'm Lyndon Thorpe. Welcome to Lodestone Q&A. We're here every Friday at 9 a.m. BST, which will soon change to 10 a.m. when we put the clocks forward, I believe. Anyway, I'll let you know about that nearer the time. And today, as you saw from the flyer, we're talking about spirituality. And it's our favourite topic, all three of us. And I've got my guests with me again, Baby Sheila and Muhiba, and we're going to really enjoy talking about them. So let's just add them to the stage. I welcome them as always. There's Baby Sheila, and there's Muhiba. Welcome. Oh. Yeah, I didn't switch my mic on. Thank you. Welcome everybody. Thanks so much for coming, and welcome to LinkedIn members and YouTubers, because I'm streaming to both. And yes, just to mention earlier of the fact that we're here every Friday at 9 a.m. BST, but that will change in October when the clocks go back. I think it's back. Let you know about new timings for this. So today then, I'm going to start off with a presentation. Our topic is, as you know, spirituality and diversity. We've been talking about diversity now for a few weeks, and today we're going to go on a little bit further with that. So without me, and I'll give you just a short presentation to show you where I'm up to with it. Okay, so I'm just going to get a different format. Oops, no, not that. This. Yes, there it is. Okay, and we'll go a little bigger. We've lost Baby Sheila, but in a minute, I'm sure. Okay, so just to get started then, yes, I love this flyer. It represents diversity and it represents relationships. So people are working together and joining in their various pursuits. So this is a really important image, I think. Let me just slip back to the very beginning. Okay, so yes, first of all, what does it mean, the spirituality of diversity? Well, I wanted to introduce my wonderful Lodestone cover because this is a Lodestone compass. And I think this photograph has this very mystical sense with it. And yes, maybe some people would say this is very spiritual. I certainly feel there's something very strong about this image, which is why I chose it. And I also chose the notion of the natural compass to show that, you know, the earth has natural rock, magnetite. So yeah, this to me encapsulates spirituality and a certain mystical quality. So what is spirit then? Well, in my book, as a Buddhist and as a spiritual teacher, and I work with the spirit all the time, then really to me, spirit is true nature. It's essence. It's also energy. And energy is indestructible, as any scientist will tell you. Human beings are full of very special, unique energy. So to me, that's what spirituality is. It's about our unique essence, which we express with our bodies, with our actions. And this true nature, yes, this is your nature that you were endowed with when you were born. And then we join society, and of course we start to accumulate layers of conditioning because we need to all get on together. And so there are all these social conditionings that go on. And to me, spirituality is not belief. That's something of the mind. It's not what I believe. It's not religion either, because that, to me, indicates a dependence on an external God. And it's not mind, because I believe that the mind between your ears is a great tool, but I don't think it's the only tool. So a lot of my work is about how to connect with the other tools that we have at our disposal. So today I'd like us to talk a little bit about how spirit, human spirit, makes diversity a magnetic thing, a resilient thing, a live, vivid thing about some people have different ideas about spirit. So what is it and what isn't it? Well, to me, it's not ideas, it's not symbols or belief systems. In the Buddhist teachings, Buddha nature, true nature, indestructible energy are very important. And the other interesting thing about spirit is that it's invisible. Yes, we live in a world where the visible is very important, where the proof of existence is so important. But in fact, the spirit, although it's invisible, it animates everything. It guides everything in our unique lives. And just to reiterate, any scientist will tell you energy cannot be destroyed. That's why our true nature will always exist eternally. And if you talk to First Nations, they will say, when you ask them how long they've been on Earth, they will say, oh, always. And we always will be. So because they don't believe in linear time, then they've always been here, which is a very interesting point, I think. Spirit trapped by the mind, yes. Conditioning, intellect can really channel the mind in good ways, but also in bad ways. And constant thinking really compresses the spirit, and it becomes hidden or silent. But it's always there waiting to be released. And my Lodestone method, and much of what I do, is all about releasing the spirit from the prison of the mind. And then we have radiance, and then we have presence, and so on. Spirit is a guide, yes. Spirit, to me, leads the mind, and it's not the other way around. The mind is a tool. Spirit is more like a compass. And when spirit flows, the mind can serve it, and the body can resonate with it. So spirit is not in the mind, that the mind must be guided by the spirit, to me. Diversity through spirit, well, we've mentioned already many things: aging, gender, race, ethnicity, ability, neurodiversity. But spirit is never diminished by differences. Diversity is the coming together of many expressions of different spirits, which is what makes it so exciting to me, and why it's never ever been a barrier to me, and not to my guests either, I think I can say. We are diverse. We are a diverse civilization, race, whatever you want to call human beings, and bringing together all these 8 billion individuals, unique individuals, to me is all about spirit and how those spirits dovetail together. Finally, spirit leadership and my Lodestone. Well, true leadership to me is radiating your spirit, not controlling others. It's kind of billed as team leaders who have to keep their team in check. But to me, a good leader is someone who just radiates their natural goodness, their natural energy. And as you know, I use these 4 compasses. the brain for clarity, heart and lungs for coherence with the breath, the solar plexus for life force and confidence, and the base chakra for the grounding and the magnetic presence close to the earth. So, aligned spirit is a kind of natural magnetism, like attracts like, one of the most important universal laws, like attracts like. So, very simply, if you're feeling wonderful, then you will attract other people who are feeling wonderful. If you're feeling not wonderful, then you're going to accumulate people around you who are not feeling wonderful. So we need to shine so that we can really help other people to shine further. So, yes, I work with whole body listening to release the spirit, and this bypasses the intellect and opens up the spirit. I use micro recalibration. This loosens the conditioning, restores the flow. These are all things we've mentioned in the last few weeks. Resonant speaking, yes, the voice. We've been thinking this week about AI, and that really got me thinking about the incredible mechanism of the human voice, which I have studied in great detail as both a musician and as a speaker too. So it's your spirit that vibrates outward through your voice, and I can tell a disembodied voice anywhere. Spirit is invisible, but it's felt in presence and it's seen in action. Last night I watched this amazing film. It's about an American woman who went surfing in Mexico on a very isolated beach. And although there were a couple of surfers there to begin with, eventually they went, and she decided to go out once more. And she was attacked by a shark, a big, big shark. She ended up marooned on this tiny rock, and the tide was coming in. She couldn't get to the beach. She couldn't get off the rock, and she was badly injured. She had a huge leg injury. But her spirit, wow, it just persevered with these attacks by this very aggressive shark. And eventually she escaped, and the shark died. I won't tell you how, because you may want to see the movie. It's a very good movie. It's called The Shallows. But that's all about the human spirit. Yeah, the human spirit is incredible, I think. So, yes, just a quick mention of my masterclass, which is starting on the 17th of September. And this is where I am inviting people to come and co-host a session with me. I'm going to help them with their embodiment, help them bring their spirit to life. Many people are very scared of going live, I find. And so I'd like to invite people to come and let me help them become embodied speakers. And just a thought about AI. Yes, AI can simulate thought, but only humans can embody spirit. So the invisible is vast. And to me, it's much more important than the visible. Okay, that's me for now. I'll just come out of this presentation and just a moment. Okay, there we go. I'll take those slides away. Right, muy bien. There we are. I don't know where she... Oh, there's Abby. Oh, she's joining us now. Okay, there she is. Great. There you are. Super. You had a transmission problem. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, any reactions to my presentation?
Thank you so much.
Filled with questions.
As usual, you would have, for each idea, you would trigger so many. Thank you so much. Wonderful introduction. It always sort of sets the scene and triggers all the thoughts and all the great ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. So, what about you, Ebishila? Any thoughts at the outset, or did you
Oh,
miss?
gosh, there is no. I got back. You just didn't see me waiting.
Oh, right.
um,
Oh, sorry.
I,
Sorry.
I, yeah, that's okay. Um, yeah, thank you again for today. Learning so much, and really, I think it's things that I've known intuitively, and like you said at the beginning, the energy is neither created nor destroyed. So we've always been there. Our spirit has always been there. So there's a lot of things that our spirit knows that we're not conscious of. And so I'm excited for our conversation today.
Great.
Same
Okay.
here.
Super. So, go ahead. Let's get going. What, Wahiba, do you want to start?
Yeah, yeah. As usual, my compasses are what makes me, all of them together, is always together. And whenever one is triggered, the others are there. You know how they are together. And so it could be that I hit myself. So it's the body that is first hit, and then come the others to hug the body. And if it's something that I hear, somebody is saying something which makes no sense, it's the mind that is triggered, and the rest gets together. It is when I know it. The spirit is the most visible in my life. Isn't it funny? Because it's truth. It never gets affected. It tells me, as much as my body, as much as my mind, this is how and when I know I am aligned. All of them are aligned. I force one, it does not react. It does not even react. It says no. And so I am this whole of all these forces that come together and tell me whether what I'm doing is right or wrong. It's never wrong if the three or the four of them, these forces, are together. And then I know what I'm doing is right. I will later tell an anecdote that illustrates beautifully well what I'm saying.
Good. Okay, super. That's something to look forward to. We'll come back to that. So, Ebishila, what about your opening comments? How about your
So, yeah,
human
so
spirit?
yeah, so my something that I'm still learning, so it's work in progress for me, is differentiating like the mind and the spirit. Because for me, sometimes I get them confused. Um, and it's like you said at the beginning, the mind is a tool, and I guess the spirit is the compass. So it's getting to understand what the difference is, and then getting to so the mind is supposed to be serving the spirit, so the spirit is directive. But I think we've kind of lost our way as not, it's not community, but as a collective. Yeah, we've kind of lost our way. So we're back to front now. So it's like the mind is the one serving us, and I guess this is why we're in so much confusion and so much anxiety and so much depression, because we're not clear, or we're letting the mind take control. But I guess I would say the mind is there as one of the tools, and the mind is there to help us, like when we're in danger. Gusman says, so don't do that. But the spirit is what knows what the truth is and who you really are. So the guidance should come from the spirit. And so this is something I'm learning. I'm obviously on my journey, I'm making mistakes. I'm thinking, oh no, that was... So my spirit is telling me something. And the spirit tells you stuff like straight away. So if something's going to happen, it's like within 5 seconds, it tells you, but you have to be so in tune to your body to understand that. And then the mind comes in and says, oh, what is, trying to give you all these. And so once you get into your mind, this is where you start to make mistakes. You start to get confused because you're not really sure. So I guess like you talk about in your program, it's about understanding your body, because then you can understand the difference, which is really, really important for a happy and a fulfilled life.
Yeah, great. Yes, right.
If I may, comment on Abby's remarks, the spirit is quicker than the mind.
Yes.
The mind takes time. And so I've had cases when, for example, we had to decide whether to travel or not. And I would say, I'll tell you tomorrow. I always go to sleep and I'll tell you tomorrow because I'm not going to think. Next morning, I wake up and I say, we are going. And they say, how have you come to this conclusion? I say, I have no idea because I still haven't processed it through my mind. But my whole body is telling me, go.
Yeah.
So later on, I can state all the arguments, but this takes time. But everything in me is telling me, go or don't go. And then the mind is there to give you rock solid arguments later because
Yes,
it needs that process.
I totally agree. Analysis, where, when, what, all of these questions which are great. It can analyze, but as you say, the spirit and the body are much quicker. And most people ignore those signals, it seems, nowadays. And that's why we have burnout, and that's why we have all these horrible things happening to people. And so, yeah, to me, I think if we're not in touch with our spirit by whatever means, then we are just a shell, just a mind shell, really. And we're constantly reacting. We just react to everything. The phone rings, we jump to answer it. We're just reactionary mechanisms if we're only using our mind. And talking to leaders and so on recently, I think this is how most people are proceeding in their work lives. They're just responding. Instead of having those moments to feel the spirit moving, to feel, yes, as Muiba says, all the inner compasses coming together, and to realize that this is just a million times more reliable than any thought you may have. And so, yeah, I think we're really at a very interesting crossroads, especially in terms of leadership, because I think so many people are burning out and so many people are leading and withdrawing because there's too much mind in the world, and there's too much mind generally, I think, in the developed world. And so we have to find a way to embody people, to encourage people to come into spirit. But I think people are really scared of it, the spirit.
Could
I
that be
think,
because people see spirits as something religious, as opposed to what? I mean, why
yes,
are people scared of spirits? I think because I
yes,
used to see spirits as a religious thing, but the last 5, 6 years I've understood that it's not about religion. And I guess is that where the faith is coming from? I don't know.
yes. I think, in my experience and my kind of research, I think most people are really freaked out by religion. They think they're going to get snared by some kind of cult. But especially in Japan, actually, there are lots of new religions here, and so people are just really wary of anything so-called spiritual. But I think that yes, there's a confusion between spirit and soul, which I mentioned before, and I think for me, soul is a much more religious type of word, whereas spirit is much more about Earth and the universe, and much more about the human race apart from religion.
Yeah.
You
So,
know, for me, the difference between soul and spirit, and they're so, I'm not frightened by soul for a very simple reason. I come from a very religious background and was
oh,
myself religious as a child. Religious because they were praying, I would pray, they were fasting, I would fast. Just the normal thing. And then decades later, I wondered, how come I am so spiritual? Is it in any way associated to my former religious uh, beliefs? And I said, even if it is, no problem, because it means that I would have kept from religion the soul of religion, the spirit of religion, but not a single gesture, not a single belief imposed on me, not a single belief that would dissociate me from the universe.
Mm.
And so, if this is connected to my
Oh, she's frozen.
Mm. Muhiba, come back to us. You're frozen. Oh, there you are.
oh, oh, that's naughty of me. So, what I wanted to say is that whatever you have that is valuable, who cares about where it comes from? It could come from a religion, it could come from my thinking, it could come from anywhere. I feel so spiritual. I am overwhelmingly spiritual, overwhelmingly. As Lyndon would say, I'm overwhelmingly body. I would say I'm overwhelmingly spiritual because spirituality connects me to the rest of the world. No matter how diverse the world is, I belong to the world and the long belongs to me. And so if this is spirituality, that's it. That's my spirituality. It's a
And so
connector.
be it.
That's it. So be it. I'm connected to
Mm,
the rest of the world. And that's what I love about spirituality. It's a
mm,
connector. And if it dissociates you from the rest, sorry, it's not spirituality then. I
yeah,
dare claim it's not spirituality.
no, no.
Spirituality is
I
about both.
agree. Mm, yeah. I think the the interactions we have with other humans, um, even though people may not admit it, are all spiritual. You
Mm.
know, you meet someone for the first time, you have a feeling about that person. Are they similar? Are they not? Is this to be? And that's invisible. It's the invisible connection, and of course, I believe that it's a thing, and that we are meant to meet those people that we meet. Um,
Yeah.
no coincidences in terms of interaction with other beings. But so my real concern and my real worry is that people deny their spirituality because they can't see it, they can't prove it, you know. But it's happening all the time. Every time they meet someone, then their spirit either meshes with that other spirit or not, and there's a repulsion or there's an attraction. And scientists would say that's the kind of attraction factor. Okay, maybe that's one way of looking at it, but it's invisible, isn't it? Whatever it is, it's invisible.
Funny, yeah, funny that I would call it the most visible
Oh,
because it's indeed it's so invisible that it becomes the most visible. What could explain that? I look at you, and how can you explain first sight love if there is no spirituality? It's beyond the person I look at, the appearance. It's you feel just immediately attracted to one without knowing why, no explanation. So there is this chemistry. And what is chemistry? And there is this attraction. And what is attraction? You just feel it's somebody you have always known, somebody you have always waited for. It could be just a place, by the way. I was
yes.
to buy a place, I was to buy a land, and my sister kept saying, "You're going to lose it if you don't buy it." I say, "I will never ever buy a land that I don't fall in love with, and it's going to cost me a fortune." And lately, I had the same feeling buying a towel. Can you believe it? I bought a towel thinking it was like my other towel, which I love, and it turned out not to be the towel I have. It costs something like maybe $2. I returned it because I said, I cannot keep it. It's sending me waves that are not positive and fascinating, wonderful, like my other towel. I returned it. And I said, if they don't return it, I will put it there at the counter and come back. I'm not keeping it. Can you believe? What is it?
Yes,
It's
yes.
it's this, the vibes that come to you. This is spirituality. This is when you are connected to the universe in all its forms, beings, nature, the environment, places, objects. You are either connected or you say, no, I don't need them in my life because they're not connected to me.
Mm. Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, our use of visible and invisible. Of course, we have to look at Christianity as perhaps the origin of this invisible, visible stuff. And you know, of course, that's great, but you know, we have to embrace that. It's not just an idea. I mean, that's the trouble with religious books, isn't it? They're taken on board as ideas. They're not lived really often. Um, and so, to me, the invisible world calls me constantly and always has. When I was 10, I think maybe I've told you this before, but I was playing cricket. British people play cricket. I loved cricket when I was a kid. We were playing cricket with my brother and my dad. Okay, we're playing cricket at lunchtime, really summer day, beautiful. But the radio was really playing, blaring out, that transistor radio. And this radio said, the teachings of the Buddha are like a turtle poking its head through a hole in a log, floating on the great ocean. Okay, now I was 10.
Aha.
Well, this absolutely riveted me. My brother and father had no idea what it meant. I had no idea that it was all about Buddhism. I didn't know what Buddhism was, never heard of it at the age of 10. You know, surrounded by Christians and Muslims too, and so on, but no Buddhists. And that was it. That was it. I knew this was my pathway. And many things happened after that that really confirmed that. The house I was born in, I moved away and moved out of England. And then soon, very soon, that house was bought by a Buddhist organization, and the head priest lived in it. It's
That's
amazing, isn't
amazing.
it?
That's amazing. So talking about invisibility, and
Unbelievable.
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So talking about invisible, so the most powerful things in life are invisible. If you talk about love, like Muhiba intimated to, you talk about trust, talk about they're all invisible. So, but
Mm,
our task isn't to make it visible, is it? It's for us to embody it, like you always talk about, Lyndon, to embody it so that others can feel it. Because when people feel it, they feel that trust. Because people really follow things that they trust, not things they can measure. So measuring is just like intellectual,
mm,
whereas actually following is what you can trust. So
mm, mm,
when our leadership resonates with integrity and compassion, the spirit becomes undeniable, even if you can't see it. So that's really an amazing. I never thought about it that way until now that you're talking and you've shown us this. Yeah, it is invisible, but if we follow our spirits, then because we are, I believe we're magnetic and energetic beings, so we radiate that. And like I think you said, Muhiba, earlier on, that, or maybe it was you, Lyndon, that sometimes you don't understand why you meet some people and you
mm,
immediately have that attraction.
mm,
And,
mm.
and I believe nothing, you don't meet anybody by coincidence.
No.
Everybody you meet, there's a reason that you, because spirits, and I believe the spirit is talking to your spirit. So sometimes you meet some people who you might describe as well, to put it politely, unfriendly. But there's a so it's not your problem about their behavior. But I believe spirit talks to spirit, and that spirit is trying to tell you something within you that you need to work on. So it might be compassion. Maybe that person's hurt people hurt. And usually when people are lashing out, it's because they're hurt and they just want company in their pain. So you have compassion, and that compassion could change that. Or maybe the
Yes.
person is at the end of their lifespan in terms of how they're feeling. Oh, I don't want to live anymore. So they're lashing out. But you're maybe one kind word or a smile coming from you, and that kind of teaches you, because you could then learn, maybe after that person has told you their history, you can think, oh, well, maybe my compassion for others and not just look at words. And so maybe you might need to work on that. I don't know what it is. It's all different for different people. But again, it's going into your spiritual self and finding out what your lesson is from that person you meet, because everybody is your teacher. You don't meet
Yes.
people by
Oh,
accident.
yes.
I agree.
I think that's a
Yes.
Buddhist belief, actually.
I agree. I agree that I agree that every person you meet has been my teacher, especially my
Yes.
students, because I would linger on and on. Every week I would see them, and every time I walk out of class, I say thank you so much for the learning. I
That's
would
so
have
good.
I often say I teach from 8 to 9, same course, 9 to 10, same course, 10 to 11. Not one resembles the other, because my courses used to be based on questions, answers. And so I would come with questions, not with answers. And what I get, and what I return, and what I get, and what I return would change me. And I would
Yeah.
say, I hope you have enjoyed my class as much as I, and the learning as much as I. So we are
So as a
changed
teacher,
as a
Yeah.
teacher.
as a
As a
Yes.
teacher,
teacher, you're actually learning from your students. That's
for
amazing.
half a century, I would
Me
thank
too.
them for the learning. Yeah, I would thank them for the learning when walking out of class. And I often say, coming to class is coming to a party. If I don't leave happier, more learned, I would have wasted my time. You go to a party to enjoy life. I come to you to enjoy your presence, our party, and the learning behind it. And if it's not the case, what's the use of you coming and me coming? This is how
Yeah.
you can transform it. This is how you can transform what people would think of as the mind, the mind, the mind. Oh, it's all of us. It's as Ed said, the smiles we give to one another. I once had 3 students sitting just there at the front row, and they would go like, one day I accepted it, second day I said, sweeties, you'll have a nice smile on the face. This is the role of the front benches. You need, was insinuating, if you are having this sort of smile, no smile, better sit at the back because I'm unaffected. So I said, front benches need to support. So I need your support. Have smiles. And the moment I said it, they had 3 smiles because they didn't expect it. I said, yeah,
Yes. 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 Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes. So similar, Muibad. Absolutely the same with my students. I learned so much, and in my case, it's really interesting because for 12 years I was working with quite severely handicapped people as a music therapist, autistics,
Oh,
very high grade autistics, so violent, so absolutely unable to make human contact. And so, people would say to me, wow, what are you doing? What do you get out of this? Wow. Work is really the most treasured thing I've ever experienced. I don't know if you can imagine this, but my most severe case was a guy, very handsome guy, not at all handicapped looking, about 35, no, a bit older, 40. And he was top grade autistic. So nobody except his very experienced carers who had been with him for years because they can't accept any kind of change easily, So these very experienced carers could be 10 meters from him. As a music therapist and as a newcomer in his life, I had to stay 50 meters back and walk around in a radius, singing or whatever I was doing, to reach him safely. When you do something like that, people say, "Oh, you must have been so scared." No, I wasn't scared, but I was just so fascinated by this human being who could not bear human beings to be within 50 meters of him. And eventually, little tiny changes week after week after week. I worked with him for 3 years and I got to 20 meters.
Wow. What a performance.
Yeah, it was incredible. I loved it actually because we had this huge space and just the two of us eventually, because he trusted me and his carers trusted me. And in all that time, in all those years I worked with him, I got eye contact from him about 3 times. So people say, how do you keep going? How did you keep going with that? That was my spirit, and that was his spirit. And eventually, we got closer, and then he did something terrible and he got taken away to prison for the insane. Never saw him again. Yes, what a pity. But that was such incredible spiritual work, And it's
Linda, sorry to just add, but we talked of this. In my society, you wouldn't take someone away. He could stay in one of the rooms if he wishes. If that's an extreme case, extreme cases, he would be still within the community. Okay, he would have his own room, but then he would never ever go to an institution except in cases of violence, extreme violence, or danger to his life. But even then, I can't think of a single person I know who would have been taken away from family. And the worst, most serious case was just lived on the second floor. That's it. At least there was no such isolation. No such isolation.
That's wonderful. Well,
Which
yes.
makes it worse.
This is
makes it worse.
Yeah, this is in the UK, and they had very rigid
it's a Western
rules.
thing.
Probably
I think it's more of a Western thing, and it's making us more disconnected with each other.
Absolutely.
Which is really sad because the effects are being seen now, that disconnection. But I don't think a lot of us are connecting all this disconnection to the chaos that's happening. Spiritually, we seem all disconnected. Whereas, Muhiba, what you're saying is that in your culture, it still remains in the home, and the love of the family and the community could stop. Yeah.
No way.
Yes,
I can't think of one single case throughout my life, a long, long life, where somebody was taken to live elsewhere. Never, ever. And it's the case with foster parents. I mean, I can't think of a single case needing foster parents, because if the mother is not feeling well, the aunt would,
auntie,
the grandmother would come in, people would
family
help.
is
Impossible to think in terms of foster parents at all. At all.
wonderful.
You would have orphanages for people with no parents and no relatives. You would have an orphanage then. But that is an extreme case of somebody left behind at the hospital, for example.
Yes.
And they would make adoption easier. Adoption is not going to take you a century. You would apply for a child because you are childless and you love to have kids, and they would let it be simple. I've written a chapter in my book, in our book, which I co-authored, called Simply Becoming, about simplicity. I lived so simply based on my earlier childhood. I have always lived simply, in the simplest way. Never overthinking, just thinking. But overthinking, I tell my clients, doesn't do you any good.
No.
Just think, move on.
Yeah.
You know, give enough space for your mind, one third or one fourth of who you are, not more than that. No, don't do that because it's not going to serve.
No. That's right. That's very true. Wonderful. Oh, again, we're going deep here, but maybe we should just bring this to a close by talking a little bit about diversity,
Yeah.
the spirituality of diversity. So, any thoughts, Ebishila? What about you?
Funny,
Ebishila?
funny enough, I have been since last week. I have been talking quite a bit about diversity. I based my theme this week on diversity because after our conversation last week, I was just so I don't know. I felt really, really strong. It's a subject I've always felt very strong about, but it's a sensitive subject just because I think a lot of people do not really understand what diversity is. And I think you going to etymology and describing what really diversity is and about getting balance within us as individuals, which can then radiate out to the collective. So it all starts with us. But I think where we're failing in a society is we're looking at the other person, but it's about us. So spirit wears many faces, in spirit. It dances through cultures, different rhythms, speaks through different genders, different voices, and it whispers through different generations, different tones, it's all different. So each expression carries its own gifts, and I think we're not recognizing the individual grace. So it can carry things like compassion, strength, wisdom, vision. And
Mm,
the beauty is that it's not in being the same, but it's how spirit uses diversity to reveal more of itself. So when we honor those or expressions, we create space for wholeness to emerge. We but it starts within us to understand, because I think what we're doing now is that we're doing a lot of projections. So, how we actually feeling in spirit, and it's not intentional because we don't know. This is why it's important to go into our bodies. So, what's coming out of our mouths is what we're actually feeling inside us, and we're projecting it on others, which is causing a lot of friction and defensiveness in
mm,
others. So you see this pull and fight all the time, where really it should be love, cohesion, understanding, forgiveness, yeah. So diversity, diversity
mm,
and spirituality, I feel it's very important to get in touch with our spirituality to really understand what diversity is, because diversity is not about religion, it's not about race, it's about the differences we have as human beings,
yeah.
because we are all different and we're all unique, and it's that's what diversity is all about. It's not about, oh, I'm this religion or I'm that race, so that makes me diverse. No, because you can be exactly the same as somebody of a different race, you just got a different color, but you're exactly the same, and that's not diversity. So you need to find the diversity. Especially like in organizations and even in a relationship, you need to find that diversity to partner well with somebody as husband and wife. So
Mm,
you're the same, we're all the same, but we still have our differences in our spirit, in our true nature, which is our spiritual nature.
yeah, great. That's right. And
Yeah.
maybe, Muhiba, to finish, you promised us
My
a.
story
Oh
is
yes.
the
Sorry.
right, Lyndon, you got it. It's the right time for my story now because my story tells it all.
Good.
I was
Oh,
in the department.
yes.
I was head
See?
of department, and I was called by the dean, and the dean said, "We are going to move one of your colleagues to another department." I said, "Oh, so this colleague is going to have a promotion." And I suppose the colleague, so I was very happy for the colleague because he was going to be moved from my department to another one. Usually, when you are moved to a better space and to a higher salary. well, the dean said, not exactly. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, the colleague is going to be moved to another department. First, it's a lower department than yours, and will probably pay it less. I said, what? I shouted so loud. That's my mind now. I shouted so loud that the owner of the college was passing by and came in. He said, you're shouting. I said, I am, sorry for the term, disgusted, because I'm very outspoken. He said, disgusted? I said, yeah, listen to this. He listened. Then he said, what's wrong with this? After all, are you for the college or against the college? I said, I am for humanity. And here, emotional now. I come. The mind plus now, plus emotional. I said, for humanity. That's not good. Put yourself in the place of this colleague. That's not good. You are so happy because the colleague had come to me and said, I'm going to move. And I said, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. How is the colleague going to react? And someone who was present said, I suppose the colleague is a woman. I said, no, it's a man. Oh, he said, I suppose the colleague is Tunisian like you. I said, no, he's not. He said, well, in this case, he must be Arab and Muslim. And said, no, not Arab, not Muslim. What are you talking about? Who's that? I said, my colleague is a man. He's black. He's Indian. He's Christian. You know what? My spirituality. And I burst into tears. Now my spirituality. I burst into tears. And here you see the alignment. I could not say, yes, okay, take him to another place. My spirituality would have said, wrong. My emotions would have said, sorry, that's not nice. That's what I call my whole. What I was saying, what my mind was telling me, what my emotions were telling me, what my guts were telling me, were all one. And he was never moved.
Mohiba, that story is
and to conclude, my colleague came to me and said, please, Mohiba, don't cry. Please don't. He didn't call me Dr. Mohiba. He said, Mohiba, for the first time, he called me Mohiba. He said, Mohiba, don't cry. For me. And he touched my hands. And he said, don't. I'll go wherever they want for you not to be upset. I said, we'll never go anywhere. I'll never let them do this to you. And they never did. And they never did. That's what I all in one.
You know see? What you just said, this story is just so touching, because you mentioned something in the story, which is the spirit never lies. And because you were in touch with your spirit, the spirit it always will tell you the truth. And that's why it's always so important. And what you said just made that, it gave me goose pimples, because you were so in touch with your spirit, you instinctively knew straight away that was not the right thing to do. And thank you so much for sharing that.
That's wonderful.
Thank you, thank you, Lyndon, for speaking of this alignment. If you're not aligned, no matter what is aligned with what, you need that alignment to feel the well-being that we all need. No contradiction between this and that. No,
it's so clear.
The clarity, your eyes.
Clarity is amazing. Yes, the body never lies, and the spirit never lies. It's only the mind that lies if you let it.
Yes,
if you let it, because when you teach your mind, don't you fool me, mind. Otherwise, you'll be kicked out. I will stay with my emotions, my state. You'll get kicked out. So don't. So the mind is very cautious, because the mind has got the emotional, the body, the spirit. So the mind is very cautious and says, I better not make mistakes. Others again may kick me out.
Yes, that's so true. And that's a wonderful note to end on, I think, isn't it? That we can trust the spirit, we can trust the body, but we cannot necessarily trust the mind. It's only a tool. It's much better to invest all our trust and belief, not belief, trust in the nervous system. And the nervous system is in the body, it's not in the brain. The consciousness that runs down the spine, that's our spinal cord, and that's really where resilience lives. And that's what we can really trust, totally trust. Yeah.
So the intellect versus spirituality, is that what the intellect versus spiritual?
Yes. And I'm talking about the intellect, which is wonderful to not denigrating it at all, but I'm saying that it becomes like a wild horse, and just takes over everything. Yeah. And so if you
I'm so sorry. Just tame your horse, and the horse becomes the beauty of your life.
Yes.
Tame your horse. Gently, nicely say, don't. No, you can't do this. Do this. We are companions. My mind, my body, my spirit. We are all companions. Together, we are strong. Yeah. If one denigrates the others, no. It should be tamed all the time. And you will serve us. You are bright. You mind, you are great. In service of everyone else and every part of me. They just coexist and they work together to produce my decisions that come from my body, my spirit, my mind, my everything. That's what I call a good decision, not dissociated from the rest of me.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. That's a great thing. Yes, the mind is like a wild stallion, and it will kick and it will do all sorts of things. But if you calm it, which we do with meditation and mindful practices, then, it will be easily usable as a tool. And it's a great tool if you know how to use it. But many people don't know how to use it because they allow it to become the master, and the body and the spirit are the masters. The mind is a servant, really, working properly. Anyway, that's another strong talk about next week. Any suggestions? Should we talk about any suggestions
about
what
the
we
horse?
should
About the horse.
Resilience is a good one, and what you just said, now that's a good one. Yeah, it's such a big topic, isn't it? It can go on forever.
Yeah, they're huge topics, aren't they? And by the way, yes, I've got a problem with next week, and I'll tell everybody too. I'm speaking at a conference at this time, more or less. So I sent you a message about this, but you've been busy, I'm sure. So I wondered if we can reschedule it. Any ideas about rescheduling?
I'm flexible, so just let me know.
Maybe Thursday, a day before, the day before.
Yes, that would be great. If you are free, that would be super. What kind of time would suit you?
Same time?
Same time?
Same time.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Okay, I'll schedule it for next Thursday. Thank you for that. I won't be available at all at this time on Friday next week. So thank you. Thank you.
Suggestions for topic? Any suggestions for topic?
Yes. Well, I mean, there's so much we can go at, but I wonder if compassion might be a good topic.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Is compassion not tricky? It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
Too long for our timing. Well, anyway, let's talk about it, and
let's think about it and talk about it,
and then we can communicate later about it.
I was thinking age, although I will be talking about aging, but I was thinking of age in different cultures. How is age seen in completely different cultures? What is said about age? But I will be talking at Ebby's place, at Ebby's summit about age. Would it be a good idea?
I think it would. Yeah.
start a nice
So
conversation
we
about it.
can, yes,
Yes,
we
we do it
we
the other way
can,
around. You know how we do it. We go to masterclass about diversity, and we come and discuss it here. We will do it this time the other way around. We discuss it
yes,
when we go to the masterclass.
good. Okay, age it is then, and I'll get working on that. And then, of course, your presentation will really cause us to go on to talk about it more. I'm sure. Yeah,
Great.
this is the way. Yeah,
Yeah, I was
brilliant.
thinking of age through cultures. What about this?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, that, yes.
I think that's
for
really
our
good
talk
because we.
for next week, it would be nice. Age through cultures, and then we will talk more widely when during the masterclass. During
Yes.
the Summit.
So,
Yeah,
yes.
I will not
Okay.
repeat.
Good.
great.
I
Superb.
promise.
That's wonderful. Okay. So
Bye. Bye, young ladies.
schedule
See
for
you.
next Thursday, and I'll. Oh gosh, we've gone. We've all gone. Okay. Something strange happened. Oh, there we are. I'll say goodbye to you, and I'll see you soon. And thank you so much for your wonderful input. Yes, and to you too.
Bye. Thank
So
you.
see you
Thank you for
soon. See you next week. Bye bye. Okay, so thank you so much, everybody. That was wonderful. And as usual, we've got into so many interesting areas. And next week, we're going to meet on Thursday. So, LinkedIn members and YouTubers, I will contact you. I'll leave the scheduling link. And I hope you'll join us. And yes, I really enjoyed talking to you today, talking with my wonderful guests. And I think we're making wonderful progress. Oh, yes. And my lovely assistant, Natasha, is reminding me that on Monday is Lodestone Lunch. Actually, it's not 21st of July, but Lodestone Lunch is where I encourage coaches and educators to come and talk about transformation. So if you please join us, that will be wonderful. And this is Lyndon Thorpe then on Lodestone Q&A saying goodbye. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. And see you next week. Bye for now.